Welcome to Car Guide Philippines, and this is the review of the all-new Toyota Wigo G variant. Chronicle 4, if you're watching this, I want to say thank you for leaving your comments and suggestions. For the longest time, I have my clipboard and I do write notes every time I review. So I do apologize if it sounds like I was winging it. I'll try to do better this time and the next times around. But yeah, if you have any comments or suggestions, put them down below if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're watching this on Facebook, put them on the side so that as I continue making more videos, it'll be more catered to what you're looking for. Let me know in the comments on what you want me to review or what aspects of the car you want me to review. So if I can do it, I will. Okay, now back to the review of the all-new Toyota Wigo G variant. So to make this a more comprehensive review of the platform of the all-new Toyota Wigo, I will talk about the differences between the G and the E so that there on out, it will be more of the review of the car at its core. The all-new Toyota Wigo G variant is 729,000 pesos, while the E variant is 684,000 pesos, which means that between the G and the E variant, at this time of recording, the price difference is 45,000 pesos. Here's the list of the differences between the G and the E, meaning that with these differences, that's what you're paying for extra for that 45,000 pesos. So, as a buyer, it's up to you if the stuff that you see here is worth spending 45,000 pesos. Because if there are not many stuff that you find convenient here, you might as well use that 45,000 pesos for gas money. And that will surely go a long way. Me personally, the reasons why I would go for the G over the E variant is because it has a 6-way adjustable driver's seat, which means for a tall guy like me, I can actually adjust this car to my liking. And another factor that I really highly consider is that this comes with the alarm plus immobilizer. Unlike the E variant, it's only the immobilizer. And the secondary conveniences for me that I do enjoy in this car over the E variant is the power side mirrors and the smart entry key. So now that we've listed out the differences between the G and the E, we can now talk about the all-new Toyota Wigo and how it does as a whole, as a platform. Compared to the previous Toyota Wigo, especially the TRD variant of that one, the changes look subtle here. Well, minus the more angular look. But other than that, it may look similar. But if you look closely, there are a good amount of changes on this one. And for me, one of the biggest ones is the split LED headlight, which is also available on the E variant. That's automatic. And that's a really good change because whether you get the E or the G, Toyota wants to make sure that when it comes to night driving, you have the best of what they can offer in either variant. You have this nice sporty front grille reminiscent of the TRD of the previous version. You also have 14-inch alloy wheels, and I do like the OEM look to it. If you check the measurements, the all-new Toyota Wigo is actually lower, wider, and longer. And this translates to the driving feel of the all-new Toyota Wigo. So aside from the more stable proportions of the all-new Toyota Wigo compared to the previous one, let's talk about the drivetrain. This is using the same 1-liter inline-3 naturally aspirated gasoline engine. Fair enough. So, mix, they're more similar than you think. Yeah, but the huge difference between the two is that this one, instead of the old 4-speed automatic, Toyota has put a CVT transmission to this car. And it translates to a better driving experience, which I'll explain later on. Now we're inside the all-new Toyota Wigo G variant, and the dashboard at its price point, it's a very well-executed futuristic design. Very similar to the Toyota Race G that I reviewed last time. One thing I was hoping for was for the Wigo to be implementing the same digital instrument cluster like the Toyota Race. But what we have here is an analog display. It's not a deal breaker because you have to remember that Toyota Race G variant is 200,000 pesos more expensive than this one. So, okay, Toyota, I get it. Give me the analog instead for that big discount, I'll take it. So the gauges and the LCD screen are actually fine. They're very legible, you can read them easily. The font is nice. I just wish though that they used a black and white color scheme So instead of orange lights here, I wish it was white and then the LCD screen implementing a black and white so that it color matches with the digital air conditioning system over here. I think there's a missed opportunity to have a more cohesive design. So the all-new Toyota Wigo, whether it's the G or the E variant, will come with this nice 8-inch infotainment system. And for its size, I do like the pixel density of it. It actually looks clear, everything's legible. And when testing it out, it was on the responsive side of things, especially at this price point. That is a luxury. Just keep in mind, this is nitpicking already. I'm not faulting the car for this. I wish the USB port was not here at the top. I wish it was down here. Why? Because no matter how clean your design is, and this is a really nice clean design, especially at its price point, having the cable over here, it destroys it. It's messy. So before we go to the second row, one more thing I do want to point out is, yes, the G variant comes with a rear view camera, but I find it so wide that when you compare what you see to what you get, there's like a sort of disconnect. So if you do get the G variant, I suggest that you practice what you see on the screen and check how it's perceived in real life and just get used to it. Okay, now that we have the first row covered, let us now go to the second row. Okay, now to the second row. Okay, so as you can see, the seating here is adjusted to a big guy like me. So it's as far back as possible. And now that I'm sitting here, what do I have to say? So I have like a sort of inch left of legroom space. But what's nice is the rear seats are scalloped, so it gives you that extra amount of space, which is good. Headroom, my mohawk is already touching a little bit the ceiling. But it's comfy enough. Like if I had to drive from Metro Manila to Baguio, I can imagine myself like sitting here without a problem. The only thing is, I'd say, is if you're planning to put 3 of me here at the back, that's going to be a problem. At most, you can put 2 big guys. And when I asked like petite people to sit here at the back, even petite people, if they're adults, you might want to put 2 as well. So I think if it was children, then you can put 3 children here. But other than that, I think this is more of a 4-seater than a 5. But treating it as a 4-seater, you will have a good amount of shoulder room and you have enough headroom and leg room. This is where people might complain. There's no aircon vents at the back, no socket at the back. You just have the seats and cup holders here. At this price point, for a mini compact, I find it totally fine. It's small enough that you can get aircon from the front. In conclusion, second row, it's practical. It fits 2 adults or 3 children, that's about it. And what more do you need, right? Now that we have the first and second row done, let's check the trunk. Now we're here at the trunk, and from what I can see, it's actually roomier than the previous generation Wigo, thanks to it being wider and longer. It comes with this privacy cover, so when you do close it, people won't see what's inside, which is like good in terms of security. But one missed opportunity I do see with the all-new Toyota Wigo is they could have had a 60-40 split. So instead of a 60-40 split, let me show you. It's more of one whole bench that goes down. Also a missed opportunity, it's not a flatbed, it's kind of slanted over here and then flat over here. This could have been done in such a way that it really allows a lot of versatility when it comes to trunk space, but seems to miss the mark. But other than that, the cargo space you get with it as a 4/5-seater, it's ample, it's enough. And yeah, that's about it. So let's take this car out for a spin so that I can give you my driving impression of the all-new Toyota Wigo. So for the driving impression, let's go from top to bottom. So let's start with the steering. How's the steering of this car? What I like about it is whether it's driving slow or driving on the highway, the Toyota Wigo gives a point-and-shoot feel. Like wherever I want to put it, it goes there. And so I'm picking up more speed, the steering wheel's tightening just a little bit so that it feels safe to drive even at high speed. And then when you go at low speeds, it's so nimble. And that's a characteristic that I do like about small hatches. Like, you know, in terms of spatial awareness, that you have a small car and you can bring it around easily. But when you pair that up with a really good steering, it gives a good driving experience. In terms of steering, I say the Toyota Wigo is really good. Next, driving position. So as I mentioned a while ago, it has a 6-way seating, which means that I'm able to put myself in the best driving position that I can get. And because of that, when it comes to long drives, and I've driven this already 300 kilometers worth, it was one of the most comfortable experiences I've had in this category. And so if you're considering, is the 45,000 peso difference between the G and the E worth it? To some degree, I'd say yes, even just from the seating position alone, because on the long run, it'll pay dividends. That's totally worth it. So in terms of braking, I say it's easy to modulate. If you just need a little speed to lose, light braking, you start to feel that decrease without being sudden. And then when you really need that good hard brake for whatever situation, it gets the job done. In terms of the accelerator part of the all-new Toyota Wigo, I do like that it's now paired with a CVT. You have to remember, CVTs on small cars work great because there's not a lot of torque to handle. So with whatever the engine can give, in this case, a 1-liter inline-3 naturally aspirated gasoline engine, the CVT works fantastic. It's able to really modulate the power where you need it. So if you drive efficiently with this car, you'll really get so much fuel mileage. And just to give you a perspective, I drove this highway around 150 kilometers. So a good amount of highway, driving. If the Toyota Race if I was able to clock in at 19, 20 kilometers per liter, like pure highway driving, this one I was able to reach 23 to 24. So that means that if I were to go up against the Toyota Race with this car, in terms of fuel efficiency, like for every liter worth of fuel, I can go 5 kilometers more with this car, which means that for 10 liters worth of fuel, that's 50 kilometers extra with the Toyota Wigo. But keep in mind, the Toyota Race G, I think has advantages in different areas, even when it's 200,000 pesos more expensive. Because when it comes to ownership experience, I think that's where the Toyota Race G shines because of its digital instrument cluster, its head unit, the way it's put together. And it has better interior proportions because you have more headroom, legroom, trunk, and it's more versatile in the cargo space. If you're looking for a more versatile car, you might want to go for the Race. But if you're looking for like something that drive around the city or the highway, and like it's just pure driving from point A to point B, the Toyota Wigo definitely shines in that department.
Who is this car for? If you look at the all-new Toyota Wigo at the surface level, the changes seem more subtle than ever, and you'll be right on that department. But when you combine those subtle changes with the big changes that you don't see, like the implementation of a CVT, and with a more stable stance being lower, wider, and longer, the subtle changes that you see on the outside with the big changes on the inside, then you start to see that when you drive the all-new Toyota Wigo, it starts to be strikingly different compared to the previous one. Whichever you get, whether it's the all-new Toyota Wigo G or E, one thing's for sure, you'll be getting the same Toyota dependable experience in a mini compact platform.